and welcome everyone. We have a couple of new faces today, so I think it might be helpful to start with some introductions. Um, there's there's only five of us, so I feel like we don't have to say who's going next because we should be able to know who hasn't gone. Um, but go ahead if y'all could introduce yourselves, name, organization, maybe kind of where you're located because we are a very big region. And then it is spring, and your wildflowers on your screen are so beautiful. I think you should say what your favorite Texas wildflower is.
Mm. Mm.
'Cause 'tis the season.
Mhm.
Um, I'll start us off. Sarah Coles, Executive Director of Texas Children and Nature Network. I'm technically in Austin, and I'm actually in Austin at the moment, although that's kind of a moving target. Um, and my favorite Texas wildflower, it sometimes depends on the day, but I keep coming back to the prickly poppy.
Mm.
So, anyone else want to
Do you
go
want me to go
next?
next?
Sure.
Well, I'm Rachel Weaver. I'm hopping in to speak today. I'm with Native Prairies Association of Texas. I'm based in Denton, but we travel all around. And I'll talk more about our West Texas property today. And my first thought with favorite wildflower is the prairie paintbrush, because I feel like that was one I always liked seeing. And in the early spring it's kind of blooming along with the blue bonnets, and I always liked it as like not the blue bonnet one. But now that I've been out more on prairies, yeah, seeing like the purple Beatrice is really beautiful. That's maybe a little bit later in the season, so early spring prairie paintbrush is a great one.
Great.
Hi everyone, I'm Muntazar Mansur. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Landscape Architecture at Texas Tech University. Really nice to meet you all. Favorite wildflower? Is Columbine a wildflower? I should probably know that. So we have some this year, and I really fell in love with them. And we had a little bit of rain, which is little rare here in West Texas, but it's blue Columbine, very beautiful. So this season, probably that's my most favorite. Thank you.
Great. Welcome.
My name is Monse Canedo. I'm with Texas Parks and Wildlife. I house out of Waco, the regional office here. And I'm gonna say my favorite wildflower. I immediately think of the basket flowers. I feel like those just really stand out with that purple color, and you always see bumblebees and different critters on them, and I really enjoy seeing that, like how much activity they always have.
I'm Christine Foley. I'm with the Texas Wildlife Association, and I am responsible for the San Angelo and Concho Valley area. And I live outside of Winters, so that is where I'm currently located. And oh, I have two favorites. Am I allowed two favorites?
Yes, because I probably have six or seven, so I'll
Okay,
allow two.
okay. I I like purple thistle. That's the Eryngium leavenworthii. I love that. But then I also love all the milkweeds, all the
Mm.
Asclepias. So kind of like them both.
Those are great ones. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. First up on our agenda is Rachel's presentation. So go ahead and we'd love to learn more about what Native Prairies Association is doing out in West Texas.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And just remind me so I respect time. Did we say like 20 minutes ish? I think
Yeah,
that's what I
20, 30 minutes I think is
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, feel free to chime in if y'all have questions or anything. This is kind of a presentation we share with a variety of groups and then kind of tailor it to kind of specifics. I thought since this was also just a group of environmental educators, we can kind of give some background on why it's important to preserve, conserve native prairies. They're not just a, field of grass. I mean, they are a field of grass, but the grass is really important. Um, and and a little bit of kind of background that educators can use, incorporate into lessons and things like that. And then talk a little bit about our Madden Prairie. And just our other prairies in general. We're trying to build up kind of regional and local networks of folks that have an interest in any of our prairie sites and how we can collaborate and work together. So we have some that already have a really strong foundation of volunteers, or the chapters we have kind of adopt those prairies. And then we have some that we'd really love for folks to come and check them out and fall in love with them and help us out at them. There it goes. There we go. Okay. So we were founded in 1986. We're actually celebrating our 40th anniversary birthday. Our birthday was just last Tuesday. And so we're doing everything celebrating 40 years. And it was started by Texans concerned about the disappearing prairies and the prairie heritage, especially the endangered tallgrass prairies. But we look at all kinds of grasslands, savannas, prairies, and even areas that are just good land to preserve. And how do we get it back to prairie, even if it's kind of been taken over by woody species? So our mission is dedicated to conserving native prairies and their vital benefits through land protection, stewardship, and community. We have 8 statewide staff. I'm based in North Texas, along with our executive director is also based in North Texas, and a part-time staff person. And then we have staff, full-time staff at our Austin headquarters in Manchac. And then we have staff in Houston. So we've got staff kind of around, and then we all travel as well. And then we have our regional chapters. So we are a chapter model organization, whereas groups like Master Naturalists might have multiple chapters within a county. We have multiple counties within a chapter. And so even similar to the regional meetings that Texas Children and Nature Network kind of combines, is that, we kind of collaborate with our regional chapters in order to kind of help them have administrative assistance and just helping. We are one organization, but our local chapters are able to choose workshops or outings or field trips, things like that, that work for their specific chapter kind of model and who is involved in them. So our Fayette Prairie and our Northeast Texas chapters are a lot of landowners who are incorporating in good stewardship and regenerative practices. And so they want to be together as a chapter to share resources, to, collaborate on having landowner workshops so that they can, learn more, share their experiences with other landowners. And then our Blackland Prairie chapter, which is our Dallas chapter, Fort Worth and Houston area, are a little bit more urban, suburban naturalists that want to get involved with conservation, especially in these metropolitan areas that are developing and just growing really quickly. We are based in Central Texas in Austin, so we have a presence there. And we have some landowners we partner with in San Antonio, but we don't have an active chapter there. Same in some of our areas, like we have a prairie in Waco, or outside of Waco. It's not necessarily in one of our chapters, but we still tend to that land. And same with our Madden Prairie in West Texas. So even if we don't have a chapter, we still work in these areas. The chapters kind of help us cultivate local engagement. They are all volunteer runs, and then they can kind of work with us to just extend their impact on prairie preservation. So we do own some properties. We own, and I'll show a map kind of where some of our properties are. So these are owned by NPAT, and we work to steward them, preserve them. We often partner with another group, nonprofit, or land trust that holds the conservation easement. So conservation easements are a big tool that we use to work with landowners and other partner organizations to protect the land in perpetuity. So we have a whole other presentation on conservation easements if that's something you want to learn more about, or you're a landowner or know landowners that are interested in that. It is it's a legal device kind of that travels along with the deed of the land and protects it from development. The landowner still owns the land. They still have rights to sort of operate on the land. It basically just kind of might restrict subdividing. It might restrict how many buildings can be built on it. So it puts certain restrictions on the land to protect it in conservation. But it still allows the landowner to make decisions and pass that along to their family or whomever. So we work with a lot of folks and organizations through that process, and those combined, the properties we own and the conservation easements, which I think is even 24 now. So we're always trying to add more conservation easements. We've protected over 7,000 acres of native prairie land, and so oops. So that's important in Texas because the majority of land is privately owned. We have very little publicly owned land in Texas, especially compared to other states, especially compared to Colorado and these big nature states. Texas has amazing natural spaces as well, but it's often in private ownership. So working with landowners that want to be good stewards of their land is a really important part of our mission. This is kind of the glance at our chapters, and so you can kind of see we are active kind of in those prairie areas, kind of on the eastern part of the state. We don't have a lot going on in far east because that's a lot of piney woods, and then we're kind of looking at how we can extend into kind of filling in that area that is Blackland Prairie and the cross timbers and those connections. And we do have, Madden Prairie in Mitchell County. So we do go out that way to kind of see more of those ecosystems as well. So what is a land trust? Native Prairies Association is a land trust. We are a nonprofit organization, so we file for tax exemption and sort of work through that process as an organization. We work to conserve land in the public interest. And so our properties are privately owned. They're not just open to the public, but we do have events on our lands in order to open up those spaces for birding surveys or for work days and for naturalists to get to explore these areas with us. So we don't have kind of open to the public all the time preserves, but we'll do open house prairie days, different either hikes or work days, and different events that do get people out onto our properties. And some of that is because, some of the tools we use for stewardship is also, we work with hunting leases. And so we got to make sure that the hunters aren't out there at the same time as a field trip or something like that. Or we have someone out there haying it for us. We've done prescribed burns. So it's just, coordinating the stewardship side of it with the engagement and outreach side of it too. So the types and methods of land conservation we use are complete ownership. That's fee simple is what it's kind of called in land trust language. And conservation easements are a big one, which restricts the amount of land use that can be, restricts certain types of land use and protects the conservation values. A lot of times these are landowners that already have like wildlife, exemptions or agricultural exemptions, and this conservation easement just helps add another layer of protection to that. We acquire these lands through, purchasing them, given as gifts or endowments. They are passed down to us in someone's will, or in the conservation easement. It travels with the land, and we, build up those relationships as the land gets transferred either through the family or otherwise. Funds come through our foundations that we work with, our fundraising. We work with grants, and we work with municipalities. So here's kind of a glimpse. This is also a little outdated, just because we've added a few more conservation easements. But this kind of shows you where things are sort of located. And so we have a lot in the North Texas area, and in that Blackland Prairie region. And traveling down into kind of central Texas area. We've got, so this other little, I don't know if y'all see my cursor, but there's this other little sliver of Blackland Prairie. That's kind of the Fayette Prairie area. It is Blackland Prairie, but it's even unique to other Blackland Prairie expanses. So really great group of landowners down there that are doing stewardship. In Houston, we have a prairie, a 51 acre remnant prairie in South Houston. So it's coastal prairie. And we work with a lot of the partner organizations that are in Houston and Austin. There's a lot of conservation and conservancy organizations we partner with. North Texas and other areas of Texas kind of lack some of that conservation presence. And so we do have a big North Texas initiative to try to kind of push just conservation in general in the region. And since it is very prairie heavy, it works out. And likewise, just trying to connect with other groups in the Rolling Plains and West Texas that are also doing work out there, and that we can help support and lift each other both up. So now, why is it important that we want to preserve prairies? So, this is what a bird sees kind of flying in during migration season, a bird or a butterfly maybe. So kind of a bird's eye view of just, really the connection of all of the development, and, it's lights out campaign going on right now. So we can just see the light pollution impact. And you can even kind of follow along I-35 and I-45 and kind of where they are along those that triangle of metropolitan areas. This is, similar with nitrogen dioxide, and just seeing again where are those big urban spaces, and the impact they're having. And then this is a land trends. So this report kind of showed how much working land has been converted to non-agricultural land. We're just seeing, a big conversion from, even agricultural practices can, still be regenerative and restoring the prairie. But if we just kind of completely convert it to development, we lose that opportunity to even restore prairie back from other agricultural grasslands. Texas has 15 of the most rapidly growing cities in the US. A lot of those are all around where we all are. And so we're just seeing a lot of rapid growth, and a huge transfer of land ownership, generationally, and just in the way that, folks might have to sell the land in order to, move closer into metropolitan areas. And then likewise, there's the generation that's wanting to retire and go, enjoy a nice piece of land, and enjoy kind of the quieter life of things. So there's this interesting kind of transition going on across generations and land use. And it's just that we're seeing there is a lot of small acreage, less than 500 acres, land ownership, but it's not necessarily agricultural land. It's not necessarily being preserved. And so there is a lot of it's harder to find 1,000 acres consecutive to go preserve. So we often have to kind of piecemeal 76 acres here conserved, 100 acres here conserved, and trying to find those bigger properties that are still intact is what's harder for conservation organizations. So this is all important because native prairies provide all these wonderful ecosystem services to us. So you all are probably familiar with a lot of these keywords for ecosystem services. But not only our food and shelter and all the resources we get from it, but the aesthetic aspect, the recreation, the joys that we get out of it as well. These are just kind of more land use maps, just sort of showing, how much is conserved right now. So there's a lot open. That doesn't mean all of that isn't open to conservation. That just means this is all that we've got. And this includes some of the public lands too. So there's still a lot of land out there in Texas. And some of it will be great to be conserved. More maps kind of showing the changes that we're noticing in land trends. Just let me see if I can move my little menu here. Oops, okay, that's fine too. So this is kind of lands inventory, seeing what might be available in these different counties for future conservation. Another. All right, and then I wanted to kind of get into like some background. I'll kind of go through this kind of quick, just because I feel like some of this is probably familiar to all of you if you're environmental educators, maybe you're master naturalists, Native Plant Society members. But this is kind of background of kind of key topics you can tie into lessons with prairie education. So defining the difference between native, non-native, and invasive plants. We are Native Prairies Association, so we talk about what are our native plants. These were plants and species, animals too, that evolve and occur naturally in this region. For prairies, that's a lot about drought tolerance, just handling the changes in our weather, the variety that we experience. Non-native species are not necessarily bad, but they are introduced into the ecosystem. So a good example in Texas might be rosemary. It's a great herb. It does well in a lot of our climates here, but it's not native to this area. But it can grow big, but it doesn't become too invasive. And then invasive species or unwanted species. And this is where we can tie in, a prairie needs active stewardship. You can't just kind of let it rest and it stays prairie. Prairies will have invasive species and native species of woody plants that can kind of, turn a prairie into a timber lot. It can turn it into, a lot of mesquite or huisach. And it's because typically prairies would have had bison grazing on them. There would have been burns. Things would have prevented all of the woody species from kind of just taking over those prairie areas. Other invasives like KR bluestem, Johnson grass, privet. Privet's a big one that is kind of woodies encroaching. So you can give kind of some native species introductions. There's the big four grasses. Some people say five. So then you want to discuss big grasses versus medium grasses. But the big four tall grass prairie grasses are big bluestem, little bluestem, Indian grass, and switchgrass. There's also other great mid-size grasses, side oats grama. There's great prairie grasses we can talk about and explore when you're out on the prairie. Forbs is the word I teach the kids, and it's just a science word we call wildflowers. And really it's to help introduce and connect them that these plants are pretty as well. It's good to see tall grasses and wildflowers on the prairie, even if it looks a little messy. These are good things. Their deep root systems are going to help transfer water and nutrients. Maybe you've seen this one. It's a well-known roots display. So on the far left there is turf grass, and just showing how it barely gets into the soil. So prairies really have a whole other ecosystem underground where they are helping to move nutrients and recycle nutrients with their big roots. And so this is a great resource that kind of captures that, some of these are taller underground than they are above ground. And so gets students thinking about just what's going on underneath our feet. So prairies are an uncommon sight. But they are some of the hardest working landscapes in the world. They absorb and filter water, sequester carbon, and support pollinators and biodiversity, oftentimes at higher rates than rainforests and other forest ecosystems. So prairies are kind of kind of forgotten helpers of our ecosystems, but they are very important um, to help have these ecosystem services. So they disperse seeds, mitigate drought and floods. Essential to pollinators. That's a big one that connects folks to prairie, the importance of prairies. So they are also big indicators because a lot of the insects and birds that survive in prairies are indicator species, and they often kind of alert us to the rate of loss. We're also seeing the highest rate of loss in grassland birds and insects that rely on these areas because these are some of the fastest declining ecosystems that we're losing. So we want to help protect the birds. They're vital to the health and stability of our ecosystems. There's over 40 species of birds found in our native grasslands. And this is a big one that our West Texas prairie does attract, is a lot of birders. They saw some sandhill cranes. It seems like, there's quail out there. So some really rare birds do live out at our Madden Prairie and rely upon it. So these are the birds experiencing the greatest decline, and every little bit of native prairie helps them. We also want to help the pollinators, like our monarch butterflies, and help provide nectar and food for them, as well as the other pollinators like bees, wasps, moths, flies, beetles, hummingbirds, bats. Pocket prairies are a fun topic for environmental educators, and ways that people can incorporate these into their classes. So we have some resources on our website, and we're revamping some of our website resources, but just hopefully help give you some jumping off points if this was something of interest. We've got kind of links and kind of considerations to keep in mind if that's something you want to do. There's resources out there like Bring Back the Monarchs does milkweed for educators and schools. Native plant societies will sometimes have grants to build out a pocket prairie and things like that. So they're small but mighty. They're a great learning space. They help imitate the biodiversity of a traditional prairie. So, and we consider a pocket prairie something that's less than an acre. Most schools, it's going to even be even smaller. But it's really it's a great outdoor classroom and a space to learn about runoff, soil composition, help the pollinators and critters. So, kind of starting to wrap up some of what we do. Here's some photos of invasive removal, field trips, educational opportunities, grass and plant identification. So, if you are exploring our website, and if you're looking at our calendar, we've got lots of events all across the state. Opportunities for folks to meet more of our chapters and get involved with us, and hopefully find something that gives you prairie joy, learning something new. We do, we have field trips and summer camps and things like that we do at some of our prairies, or we're really looking at Texas Children in Nature Network and Project Wild and these other programs to see how we can just help fit in to those and share information. Everybody loves doing planting days. Those are fun. Our education framework is kind of based around events. So that's where we envision people coming into contact with our organization and our mission, and sharing in that work with us, but getting something of a learning experience out of it as well. So field trips, landowner workshops, and all of these service learning opportunities help us fulfill our mission. And just trying to offer resources where teachers can incorporate in these prairie ideas, fire ecology, native plants, conservation ethics. It can really be applied to any subject, I feel like, in all grade levels. And again, I'm happy to help show how there's other resources out there that can be kind of applied to prairies. So, a great way to get started. And I think a lot of folks are having city nature challenges or Earth Week events. So, iNaturalist is doing some great outreach right now through their channels, just to inspire even new people to get on iNaturalist and the impact that has. So, if you're exploring prairies, use iNaturalist. We'll be doing I have it on a slide, but we'll be doing a bio blitz at Madden this fall, working with the Master Naturalist group that's out there. I'm blanking on the chapter name right now, but maybe the Yano group. But we've got a Master Naturalist chapter nearby that's going to be
Is it
doing.
the Big Country Naturalists? That would be Abilene.
Um, I know we're in Mitchell County, so I'm trying
Oh,
to
okay.
think which one is kind of um I'd have to get out of my screen and look it up. But yes. And I mean if that chapter is also interested, we have been trying to kind of reach out, or just share it with folks who can share it with some of those chapters. Um, so here's a photo about our Madden Prairie. Sorry it took me so long to get there. But here's our Madden Prairie, beautiful West Texas prairie. It is our biggest prairie. It's over 1,000 acres, and it was from the Madden family, and they wanted it to be preserved. And it's a beautiful bird habitat. I believe they saw a porcupine there last time we were doing a work day. But it's located near Colorado City. It's our largest preserve, and it was donated, yeah, in the 1990s by Alfred Madden. So we've been able to help restore remnant prairie. We got a grant from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology to do some restoration work out there, which has had a big impact. It's allowing us to have a big um, restoration impact while also facilitating opportunities to connect with people and do some volunteer work days. Um, so we typically do a spring and a fall workday weekend. It's kind of like a Friday to Saturday, for whatever amount of time people want to join us. There is a state park nearby that people can, stay in a cabin, or if you got an RV or if you want to camp, it's primitive camping, but we do allow anybody who'd want to kind of, is volunteering with us if they want to do some primitive camping. Beautiful dark skies out there. We do seasonal bird surveys, and that brings folks from Fort Worth and some of the other chapter areas will come out and do some of the bird surveys. And then we are open to ideas. So we are open to kind of seeing, what folks are interested in doing out there, what ideas people want to see from us. We're not sure the timeline of when we could do some of those events, but we do want to know how we can better connect with the communities out there. So we are partnering with the Rolling Plains Quail Research Ranch. They're doing a West Texas landowner workshop on May 22nd. We don't quite have that info up on our website yet, but we will be linking that to their registration soon. And then we're doing a breeding bird survey at Madden Prairie May 23rd. Again, that'll be up on our website by the end of the month. And it's free to attend, but we take a registration just to kind of track who's planning to come. We send you follow-up information with all the kind of access details, because our properties are not open to the public, and so we kind of don't always post the address and information until you've kind of signed up and let us know you're interested. And in November, we'll be doing fall work days, and that will also be a bio blitz. We'll be partnering with that Master Naturalist chapter, but it's open to anybody who wants to participate in that. And so there is my email, Rachel_Weaver at texasprairie.org. I would love to connect, stay in touch. If folks have ideas or, we're hoping to build up where we just kind of have some prairie curriculum or resources that we can share with educators. So if that's something you're looking for as well, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks for hearing me out today.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Are there any questions?
I do have a question about one of your slides. That slide you showed with the wheel with all the
Mhm.
different uses. Could you go back to that
Yeah,
slide?
yeah, totally. I'm just gonna flip it real fast back to it. Yeah.
You
Back
know
to
which one I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah, it was just kind of early on here.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't, you were on a roll. I didn't want to stop you.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
So is that generated by you in Pat, or
Um,
is that something you got from somewhere else? Because I love it.
I know, yeah, this might have been something. This presentation is kind of a template presentation that was other staff sent to me. So I don't know if this was from another organization. I can also make this a PDF and send that out, send it to Sarah or let y'all have it to look at, but if you wanted to like pull this slide, I'm happy for like those things to be shared.
Yeah, I would love if, if you find out who it's from, I'd
Cool.
love
Yeah.
just to use it when I'm, to show kids
Yeah.
because it's very succinct. It talks about
Hmm.
this is what we're losing. This is
Exactly.
why we need education, why we need nature.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Any
Awesome.
other questions?
So the pocket prairie that you discussed are fascinating. Are these like totally created kind of prairie, or are can they be created anywhere? Is that, I guess, my question. The pocket prairies.
Mm. Yeah. So, um, the Pocket Prairie could be like built like on a campus. You could kind of take a native landscaping approach, pollinator garden kind of approach. I think because a pocket prairie, and now people are going to use terms differently. So,
Yeah.
like, if someone, if you make like a native landscape bed and you want to refer to it as a pocket prairie, I'm not gonna. But I think a pocket prairie would be more in ground because it's trying to emulate what a little prairie would be like. Um, and so you'd want to mimic the kind of mosaic variety of kind of patchwork kind of plantings that happen. It might be where because things are going to seed out in different ways and the plants are kind of going to grow less designed, less meticulously. Um, so it'd probably be more of like there's maybe an empty lot and or like a portion. We just worked with a community college in Houston that had this maybe about an acre, a little less than an acre field that had been a pocket prairie and then had kind of been neglected. And so we were working to kind of bring back in more native plants and things like that. And we did kind of plant directly in and try to space things out and tried to put more like wetland friendly
I see.
plants in the wetter areas. But the idea is hopefully they'll establish and then start to emulate a native, a natural kind of prairie growth. But I think pocket prairies, pollinator beds, native gardens, they're all great and like helping to accomplish very similar goals. It's almost kind of what is available to you in the space that you're working with and budget and things like that. But yeah, so Pocket Prairie, as we see it, is yeah, trying to just be a little micro prairie habitat as natural as possible. But you do have to tend to it all. Yeah.
I
Fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw a really great example, I think, of one starting, like
Hmm.
kind of hodgepodge starting in Austin the other week. I was at a site that I'd been to a few times, but had noticed because the season, like these groupings of plants starting to come up. And actually, they had had a pre-K group that they had given wildflower seeds to and just let them go.
Yeah.
And so the running around of children made that kind of
Perfect. Yeah.
perfect scenario of
Yeah.
just we don't know what's going to happen.
Chaos.
And yeah,
Yeah.
which is starting to build into this kind of really cute pocket prairie that they
That's awesome. I love
unintentionally
that.
created. So
Yeah. Give them like the shakers with
yeah.
seeds and let them go. Yeah.
I'm sorry if you already answered this, but where do you get the native seeds from?
Oh, there's a few different seed companies. Like if you were having to buy it, we do try to save seeds from our prairie properties, and then right reseed with those in the correct sort of habitats. But local seed sources that I always refer people to are Native American Seed. So it's a Texas company. It's out of Junction, Texas. And they have a lot of great seed mixes and varieties based on the different ecoregions of Texas. Um, Brambert seed is a big one, but it's just another big seed company. But they do a lot of the grasses and stuff like that. Um, but if possible, getting yeah, locally harvested seeds from a prairie or area that's, you know, been able to kind of you're, you know, and you're allowed to kind of grab from there. Those will be great because they will be just really hyper local seeds.
Since in state parks we can't allow people to harvest seeds,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
okay, what's the alternative? Where do I send
Hmm.
people then?
Yeah, yeah. Native American
Cool.
seed is kind of my, because it is a Texas local. They have really beautiful packaging and they have fun, like they have the Be Happy mix for like pollinator friendly mixes, and they list out everything that's on there. So you can have fun looking at all the different seed mixes and deciding kind of which one you wanna use. And I've used them in seed ball making stuff, and they always have got good germination. Um, and you can get different packs. You can get bulk or, you know, little D packs, they call it. And a lot of nursery, you know, native plant nurseries will sometimes have them also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll also say with Native American Seed, they have a program for their Lady Bird Johnson mix that a portion of those then is donated as like a portion of the proceeds then gets translated into seed grants for
Yeah.
schools.
That's
So
awesome.
if you're trying to decide which one to do, that one then also helps support getting these
Yeah.
native plants on school campuses.
I love that. That's good to know. Yeah. Have they always done that?
It's been a while. Like
Okay, cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's been for a number of years. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So, any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Rachel. I really appreciate your time. Um,
Yeah.
Very informative.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry if I went over any time if y'all are catching up on your other agenda stuff.
it's quite all right. We we will use the time we've got, and then if we run out of time, we'll catch up on the next one.
Awesome.
Um, so thank you so much, Rachel. Our big news coming out of just this is breaking news, just coming out of this past weekend. Um, as y'all know, we've been working for a number of years to make the Caprock region smaller because y'all were, when I inherited it, just west of Fort Worth. So
Ah,
everything in the state that was west of Fort Worth. Which, as y'all know who live there, that's a lot of space. And so Midland has so they're going to be launching a Permian Basin regional collaborative. So if any of you are it might be in that region, let me know and they will have their first official meeting in June. So if you're interested in joining that, let me know. Misty from Sibley Nature Center is going to be their regional leader. For the rest of you, no need to fear. I will still be here for you. Um, so um, wanted to share that out. Um, any questions about that? Okay. Um, State updates. The biggest update is we officially have dates for our 2026 dates and a location for our 2026 summit. So the summit will be December 9th through 11th in San Antonio. And if any of you are members, there is a member pre-sale going on through the end of the month where you can get your registration for $300. If you wait till registration officially opens on August 1st, which you can do, it will be $375. So it will save you $75 if you join the presale. Um, and then request for session proposals will go out on May 1st. So I think I think all of you who are on here have great session ideas. So if you're interested in doing a session, keep an eye out for the request for proposals. If you'd like to talk some about sessions, just let me know. Happy to have those conversations. Any questions about the summit? Okay. We're excited to be in San Antonio this year. We'll be at the Whitley Center, which has lots of great outdoor space. Um, then also we've got someone who's doing our webinar tomorrow. Would you like to give a little preview, a spiel, so to speak, of your webinar?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. The so I've been working on different aspects of nature and early childhood. I had grants from USDA to look into health benefits of early childhood gardening, mostly how that impacts physical activity and healthy eating. But I always tell everyone that if you see children that young involved in gardening, you cannot miss that how it's not just about health, but also about wonder, curiosity, learning, and a lot of different things. So yeah, my webinar would be talking about the whole child model a little bit, how bringing more nature in early childhood is not just about one thing, it's about the whole child model. But I'll also focus on my recent research on how it is connected with early childhood curiosity, to be more specific, scientific curiosity. So yeah, I'm very excited about the webinar tomorrow.
Great. We are excited too. We've got, I think, 30 or 35 folks registered, so
Oh,
you'll have
okay.
a good
That's fine.
sized crew.
Yeah, that's great to know.
So, and there's still time to register for that if you haven't registered yet. Um, then if you are interested in any of our Green Schoolyards, Nature Smart Library, or Early Child Pathfinder cohorts, just let me know. I can get you connected to the staff members that are over each of those. Those are my main announcements, and I want to make sure I have time for y'all to give any announcements you have. But are there any questions about kind of any of the stuff happening on a state level?
Could you share the link for tomorrow's webinar to
Of
register?
course. Yeah, I will stop sharing and then I will put the link in the chat.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So anyone want to share any announcements?
The one thing I would like to tell everybody, I am a conservation educator for the Concho Valley around San Angelo, but we just started a new position in the state for a conservation educator in the Kerrville area. So if you know of anybody who is looking for a job going into primarily K through 8, doing wildlife presentations, natural resource presentations to schools, have a look at our website, Texas Wildlife Association. It's just texas-wildlife.org, and look under staff, and I think I can't remember, employment or something like that. It's under staff. But if you know anybody who's looking for a job based out of Kerrville, educating in K through 8, it's just go into schools 3 or 4 times a week and do presentations on natural resources. Take a look, texas-wildlife.org.
Christine, I believe we also have it posted on our jobs board. So if you all can't remember what she just said, it's on the TCNN jobs board.
Oh, I guess I could have put it in the chat. I didn't think about that.
Any other announcements? Okay. Well, that is, I think, everything I have on our agenda for today. Let me double check. Um, and so thank you so much, everyone. Um, look forward to seeing you. Our next meeting will be in June, either the Midland chapter or we'll continue to meet as Caprock. Um, if you if you would like to join both, I know Monse, you've got kind of both areas within your purview. So, um, looking forward to seeing everyone next time.
Nice to meet you all. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks, y'all.
great to see everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.